Hey, Richard Bryce here, Tennis Hacker. In this video, I want to show you how to improve spinal mobility and thoracic mobility to help you with your serve. Because one of the big things that holds adult tennis players back is lack of spinal and thoracic mobility. When you watch high-level servers serve, and I'm not on about me, my spine is much more mobile than it used to be, but I am definitely not a high-level server like Sampras or like Federer or like some of these other players out there. So I'm talking about them, not me. But spinal mobility and thoracic extension is a key part of getting the racket drop into the position that you need to when you're serving. So you've gone into your trophy position, you're going through the acceleration phase. As you go from the trophy position into the acceleration phase, the better external rotation you can get, and you can see my limitation there. So when you watch high-level servers, they're going to be more level with the body, the racket tip's going to be going down much more. The better your thoracic extension, the better you're going to be able to get into that position. So I'm going to show you some simple ways to work on it, or maybe not so simple ways, maybe some slightly different but very effective ways that you can work on improving your thoracic mobility to help you with your serve. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to work on a basic mobilization for the thoracic spine. We're just going to work on thoracic extension and flexion, so straightening and bending the spine. If I show you that from the side, a lot of this is just about thinking it and actually practicing the mobilization. Because if you've never tried to move your spine in this way, that might be one of the reasons it potentially doesn't move, or if you spent a lifetime sitting at desks, you just might not have practiced these movements. So hopefully we can just get it working by literally practicing it. So the way that you do it, you're going to think about just lifting your chest up to the ceiling. So I'm just going to try and lift my chest as high as I can. As I do that, I should feel the muscles in my back working to try and lift my chest up, and then I'm going to round back and just mobilize the spine that way. And as you can see, I'm kind of jabbing myself in the chest because I'm trying to encourage my spine to actually mobilize and move back. But you're just going to lift the chest and round it back. Lift the chest and round it back. Now, as you can see when I do that, my head is coming forwards, but I'm not pulling on my head, so I'm not trying to bring my chin down. My head is on top of my neck, which is on top of my thoracic spine. So because I round my thoracic spine, that naturally brings my head forwards rather than forcing it. What I'm trying to do is lift the chest and then kind of glide my spine back towards the back fence behind me. So that's the basic mobilization, and just working on that regularly can be really useful. But I find for a lot of adult tennis players, especially if they're a little bit older, just working on that alone might not necessarily get the job done. And the reason it doesn't, just because the way the body works and the way that the spine is controlled is a little bit complicated. So we're just going to do some stuff that's hopefully going to help you to improve your spinal mobility. So we're going to be using the same drill that I just did, but what I'm going to do is, as I lift up, I'm going to take my eyes upwards. So I'll take my eyes upwards first, I'm just looking at the top of my cap, and then I'm going to extend my spine. And because neurologically, when we take our eyes upwards, we do that to help us look up, and it can actually assist in this movement by activating the brain in a certain way. So I want you to try taking your eyes up, and then extending your spine, and then I'm going to look down, so you can see now I'm looking down towards my cheekbones, and I'm going to round my spine back. Then from this position, I'm going to look up to the peak of my cap, and try and extend, and then look down, or if I just show you looking forwards, I'm going to look down, and then round it back. And you might find by looking up as you extend, and by looking down as you round your spine back, that can be really useful at helping to increase the mobility in this area. The next thing that we can do is we can add a little bit of breathing into this. So we're going to inhale as we extend, and then we're going to exhale as we round it back. The inhalation will be useful, but the exhalation is going to be really important because you're going to try and fully exhale. There's a small muscle that lives behind the sternum. The name doesn't matter so much, but as you fully exhale, you're going to think about pulling your breastbone, your sternum back towards your spine, and it should help you to round the spine a little bit. So I'll breathe in and extend, but then I'll exhale, and I'm going to keep on exhaling. And when I get towards the end of my breath, I'm thinking about my breastbone going back. like so. This one you might not be able to go 1, 2, 3 and just do rep after rep, because you might be a little bit out of breath after you've fully exhaled like that. So you might need to recover your breath and then go for it again. But give that a try and see if that helps with your spinal mobility. I know for me, when I used to have really poor spinal mobility, that one was very effective. And obviously the third thing that we can do is we can do them both together. So when I extend my spine, I can inhale and take my eyes up, so I'm looking at the peak of my cap. And then as I exhale, I can bring my eyes down, so I'm looking down, and then exhaling and thinking about my breastbone going back. And now we've got two things neurologically that either assist in extension, which is the one that we need for the serve, or assist in flexion, which we just need to be able to do. And by doing that, it's generally going to be a very effective way for most people to improve their spinal mobility. So if you're struggling with it, it's going to be effective. But even if you're not struggling with it, it can just be a very good way to improve your spinal mobility. Okay, so that's what I've got for you today. If you struggle on your serve, if you know that getting into that racket drop position is problematic for you, I would spend a little bit of time working on this sort of stuff. This is actually a really important mobilization for everything, because in terms of rotation on your shots, you still need a mobile thoracic spine. So this is just a good series of exercises to work on if you've got a stiff spine and you want to be a better tennis player. So hopefully you have found it useful. Before I go, I just want to let you know about a couple of resources I've got for you. One of them is going to be a class that's about back pain. So it's a masterclass where I go into a lot of detail about getting rid of back pain so you can play without back pain. So it's going to show you some brain-based assessments to hopefully get your back to relax even more and get it to feel better. I'll place a link down there and I'll place a link up there. But if you're watching this more from a performance perspective, you just want to be able to play at a high level, I've got another masterclass for you called the Ability Amplify Masterclass, which is going to show you how to train to improve your vision, your coordination, so your hand-to-eye coordination and foot-to-eye coordination, and show you a series of assessments to help you figure out maybe what is holding you back and preventing you from improving. So I'll place a link down there for that one as well, and I'll place a link up there so you can check those resources out if you are interested. Okay, any questions about what we've covered today? If you try it and you find it really effective, let me know. I love to hear that sort of thing. Otherwise, I'll catch you next time.